my classroom. 904. And those of you who teach 904 know exactly what I'm saying. And those of you who don't, when you do in the future,
My class is first. Oh, four.
oh yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Carol's going to introduce our keynote speaker. We've had a few interesting tricks of the technical trades, but I think we're ready to go.
Yeah, the tricks, the problems being, people have seen the commercial where they're arguing about Mac and PC, and the beautiful blonde comes over on each side. Well, welcome to Mr. Harry Berry here. Darren's poor Mac, or Darren's wonderful Mac, this guy was no competition for him, and there was problems with files transferring over, which is why we started late. But I would like to introduce Darren Kurapapa. He is the mathematics department of
Thanks for not throwing rotten eggs and tomatoes after waiting so long to get started. I thought I had covered all the bases. Just a couple of introductory comments before we get started. This presentation, I call it Stop the Presses. And so I was asked to come talk to you about numeracy or numeracy across the curriculum. And it's December 8th, which some of you may recognize the significance of that date, and the music that I've chosen is the anniversary of John Lennon's death. So it seemed to fit nicely, the first lyric of the song. I read the news today, oh boy. So when we talk about weaving numeracy into the curriculum, I hope to share a little bit of humor with you. I hope to share with you some ideas that are more meaningful than not. I know we teach in the same division, we're in the same district, and it wasn't that long ago that we had the big push for literacy. And I know that when I was a math teacher, I am a math teacher, and I was sitting where you're sitting now, and someone stood up in front of me, like I'm standing in front of you now, and started talking about how I was going to weave literacy into the way that I teach math. And I felt a little uncomfortable with that, maybe even a little resentful. I teach math. I also now have to teach reading and writing. And I very politely sat in the audience and I listened, and the person standing at the front very politely watched me listen, and when we were done, we shook hands and smiled at each other, and I went off to teach math, and they went off to teach more about literacy. I'm kind of hoping that that doesn't happen to you today. But in thinking about what I wanted to say to you and what kinds of things might actually be helpful to you in a concrete and meaningful way in your daily practice, I've never had a harder time preparing for a workshop. Because how am I going to say something that's meaningful to the English teachers that are teaching numeracy in your English class not as an add-on, not as something extra, because you already have enough to do? How am I going to talk to the geography teacher and the history teacher and the phys ed teacher about how you're going to weave numeracy into your daily affairs and into the way you do business without it being something extra or an add-on? We hit a couple of snags, so it's going to go back and forth like this a few times. My original plan was to present something that was a little more smooth, and so I embedded everything in the PowerPoint. So you're going to see me flip back and forth every now and again between my presentation and these files. Anyways, when we get to the end, you tell me whether I've been successful or not in giving you some concrete ideas about how to weave it into your curriculum. Okay, so to start off, this is one of those times where I had this brilliant movie that was embedded there, and it was going to play automatically, but it doesn't do that. So what we'll do is we'll just show you the movie like this.